Hi guys, today we're going to talk about GIS, otherwise known as Geographical Information Systems. And we're going to use it in a mapping lab to help us figure out a few unique things about Delaware and about the areas surrounding our school. So for GIS, this is basically a software system that's been around for a few decades now. And basically what it does is it takes any types of geographical information, data, or maps, and combines it into an interactive software system that you can utilize to form conclusions, to analyze relationships, identify patterns or trends within any type of spatial or geographical information. A lot of you, when you guys grow up and get older and go into a specific career area, will utilize GIS in some form or contract out someone that specializes in it to do it for you. So if you're in the engineering field, if you get into any type of construction, transportation, telecommunications, if you work for a police department, okay, all these things would be valuable. So the software system, again, takes different types of maps and combines them to help individuals that are using GIS analyze the real world and a whole host of different aspects. This is just one example. When we use GIS today, you're going to apply or use different slices or layers to help identify and answer specific questions. A few examples of its applications in the real world. If you think about the Wilmington Police Department, where the city has a high amount of crime, especially murders, they might use GIS to graphically map the crime data and then use that data over time come up with certain positions or places they can place police officers, emergency response vehicles to adequately address the crime rate. We think about the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It's currently being widened to 3 lanes. GIS is used to map out a lot of that construction and map out where wetlands are or other people's properties are that needs to be modified. You're thinking about windmills, okay, that are used to generate energy. GIS can be used to identify certain weather patterns and wind models to figure out the best place to place them to create as much energy as possible. So today we're going to take a look at Newcastle County, okay, and we're going to go to this website here, which is on your mapping lab, and it's www.nccde.org/589/GIS-maps. We're going to click on this Geographic Information Systems map viewer. When we get there, it's going to look like this. You're going to have your basic map here on the right that functions just like Google Maps. So you can swipe with 2 fingers to zoom in and out, or you can use the buttons here to zoom in and out. On the left-hand side, you have what makes GIS GIS. You have a key, and you can apply different base layers or themes to the map. For instance, land use. If you click on it, it's going to give you data. You can unclick it. You can go to zoning. It's going to give you zones across the entire county. You can unclick it. Okay. The first question deals with St. George's Technical High School. If you don't know where we are, feel free to pull up Google Maps and literally type it in. Here we are. We can zoom out, and we're right by the canal, south of the canal and west of Route 1. I'm sure most of you guys see that every time you come into school. So we can go on our map here, we can zoom in and find St. George's in the same exact area. There it is. The first question asks you to apply the zoning layer. So we can click on zoning. It gets applied. It's asking you what type of zone St. George's High School is built on. So if we click on it, give it a little bit to process. We can see that it was a suburban zone. Now, you guys need to define what a suburban zone is. So you click on the link, and it brings up the information. read over the section on a suburban district and identify what that zone is. The second question asks you to identify the area across the street from St. George's, which is currently a cornfield, what it might be in the future. If you click on it, it is a business park. So again, click on the link and tell me and identify what a business park is. A few other things when using this system. When you transition from question to question, it may ask you to apply a new layer or theme. So you must always delayer before applying a new one, like protected lands. So always delayer before moving on to the next one. Also, when you have to find a new place in the map, always zoom out. Get some perspective before moving, let's say, to northern Delaware and White Clay Creek State Park. If you're zoomed in and trying to find an area, it's very difficult to traverse large areas of Delaware and find it. And again, don't be afraid to use Google Maps. Your mapping lab is due on Tuesday. Please make sure you guys do it appropriately and use this as a tool to help you process the information. Thanks and have a great 3-day weekend.